Hey guys, this is Icon, and Kanashika's kind of in the back.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, so we're just going over the 2016 NFL season and just kind of like our predictions. So we probably should just jump right into it, right? So starting off, let's start with the AFC North. I have the Bengals at the top. AFC South, I have Houston Texans. AFC East, I have New England Patriots. AFC West, I have the Oakland Raiders. And for the NFC North, I have the Green Bay Packers. NFC South, I have the Carolina Panthers. NFC East, I have the Giants. And for the NFC West at the top, I have the Seattle Seahawks. And basically, the playoff teams I'll have is the number 1 seed, Seattle. Number 2 seed, Carolina. Number 3, New York Giants. Number 4, Green Bay Packers. Number 5, Arizona Cardinals. And the number 6 seed would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's for the NFC. For the AFC, I will have the New England Patriots number 1. Number 2, Oakland. Number 3, Cincinnati. Number 4, Houston. Number 5, San Diego Chargers. And number 6, Baltimore. And just to give really quickly why I feel some of these teams will be at the top, I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals will be able to make the playoffs just because of A.J. Green and Andy Dalton, even though he's not clutch. He's still a good quarterback, good enough to get them there. And it seems like people in the AFC are getting weaker. I remember the AFC used to be a pretty strong conference, but now it feels like just the AFC has gotten pretty weak. And the NFC has some big powerhouses now with Carolina. Green Bay is still a good team. Seattle is good. And so is Arizona. All those teams are good. And Tampa Bay on the rise. So, yeah. And I feel like Houston, Indianapolis, they go back and forth. But it's going to be... I feel like Indianapolis should win. Their defense is much better. And Andrew Luck has a lot of lucky passes. So, AFC East, I have the... Patriots going up there, but Buffalo is going to surprise some people. AFC West, we have Oakland, and San Diego is going to barely make it. NFC North, I have Green Bay going up top. No one else in that division really scares me, especially losing Teddy Bridgewater, Mark Sanchez. He went to Dallas, I think. Anyway, Sam Bradford is not that good. And Carolina, Tampa Bay, they should make it very similar, except Carolina's just a better team, I feel. New York Giants, I think they're going to win just barely by a win or two. And finally, we have the Seattle Seahawks. I just feel like them and Arizona Cardinals' defense is very good. And, of course, we have Wild Card Weekend. So the teams I have going is in the AFC, I have the Chargers versus the Texans. And the Chargers, I feel like they just barely got there. So that's just, they're going to lose to the Texans. Texans have a better defense. And I feel like Phillip Rivers is nice, but he's just not good enough to carry them over. Ravens versus Bengals. I feel like Andy Dalton gets over the hump and is able to make it. Cardinals versus Packers. I feel like the Cardinals are going to win. Better defense, and Aaron Rodgers just can't carry that team. Finally, the Buccaneers will beat the New York Giants. Just the Buccaneers, this is their kind of Cinderella team of the NFC. And of course, after the wild card weekend is the divisional round, right? So I have Cincinnati Bengals versus the Oakland Raiders, and I just feel like the Bengals are going to lose. Andy Dalton's not that clutch in the playoffs. Unfortunately, I forgot last year who they lost to, but it was just like ridiculous. They should have won that game. They lost because of the linebackers penalty. Now it's just like, all right, see, stuff like that's why you're going to lose. And I really like Derek Carr. Derek Carr seems to be nice. He's a young, growing quarterback. He's mobile. And he seems pretty smart. Like, he's different than a lot of other rookie quarterbacks, just in my opinion. Houston versus New England. Of course, New England's going to make it to the next round. I just don't see them losing to Houston. I see the game being maybe like 16-10 or maybe 21-14. It's going to be a little bit closer because Houston does have a really nice defense. And J.J. Watt will give it his all in the playoffs. But Honestly, I just feel like New England's just gonna win. Now to the NFC portion, I feel like Arizona versus Carolina. This is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be something like 24-21. It's not going to be a blowout like last year. Arizona has a lot of incentive just to come back, and they have Honey Badger back on defense in the secondary. So Arizona's going to be a lot better. Carolina's going to be a lot better too, though. But I just feel like it's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout. And then I have Tampa Bay, versus Seattle, and Tampa Bay is just too young of a team, at least at the quarterback position. Um, and Seattle's just too nice. Good defense. Russell Wilson with the lucky passes that somehow make it when he gets out of danger. So I just don't see how Seattle would lose. I see this game being like 24-28 to 10. I see them only getting like a touchdown at most. Now, when it comes to the conference games, I have Oakland versus New England. People are probably really surprised, like, why Oakland? I just feel like this is their Cinderella year. Every team has a Cinderella year where they at least get to the divisional round, and people didn't expect it to. And I feel like this is Oakland's year. Excuse me, just to make it. You have Derek Carr, like I said, good quarterback. Their defense is underrated. Even in their turmoil, they always had like Charles Woodson and just other people to kind of. I think Richard Seymour was even with them. So the defense wasn't that bad. It was just they needed a quarterback. Jamarcus Russell and other people kind of set them back. Um, and their wide receivers never really stood out. And I just feel like Derek Carr is the difference maker for that. But against New England, a seasoned vet, Tom Brady's still playing at his peak. Well, at the very end of his peak, because I feel like they should have went to the Super Bowl last year. But anyway, I just feel like it's just not enough to beat New England. New England's just a better team. And so now for the NFC, I see it Carolina versus Seattle. Seattle's a really good team. But I feel like they're not as good as they were 2 years ago, as you saw when they got blown out by Arizona twice, which was ridiculous. And it wasn't even close; it was like blown out. And then Carolina, if everyone's healthy, should be good, especially getting back. Kelvin Benjamin should just be, getting back into the thick of things and being off of a snap count. And Carolina's offensive line is much improved. Seattle's defense is good, but I feel like Cam is able to run all over them. So yeah, the only thing that will definitely determine this is the running game. I feel, and Carolina edges out Seattle just because Cam can take more hits and can do more design runs and jump over the goal line. And finally, we have Super Bowl weekend. The matchup everyone's been waiting for, at least since the 2013 season, I want to say. When we first played New England, people thought it'd end up like that. When the Carolina Panthers played New England. Um, so yeah, I just feel like it's going to be Carolina versus New England. And I have a biased opinion with it, obviously, but I do feel like Carolina's going to win. Just the wide receiver, the wide receivers that Carolina have. If Kelvin Benjamin can come back, that's too much. Cam was already just doing a good job with receivers. People said, had no names. He had Ted Ginn. He, helped him get 8 touchdowns, 8 or 10. So that's just ridiculous. When before he only had like 6, I want to say. The defense is still good. Shaq Thompson is coming into his own. So defensively, Carolina wins. Offensively, I still, as far as like in the pocket, I'd give the edge to Brady because Brady doesn't really sell his passes as much as Cam. Cam a lot of time can throw off his back foot and just rely on his strong arm and his athleticism, which isn't bad all the time, but just quarterback I'd still give it to Brady. Wide receivers I'd give the edge to Carolina. Offensive line I'd give it to Brady, but I will say in the preseason the offensive line for the Panthers were pretty nice. They gave Cam a long time to throw. Running backs, I give it to Carolina. And coaching, I'd still give it to Bill Belichick, even though he's a little aggressive and that can backfire on him. He still have a lot more experience coaching than Ron Rivera. So I still give the coaching to that. But all said and done, executing will be a big thing, and I just feel like the Panthers are going to do that. And Carolina, will have their first Super Bowl ring as well. And finally, Cam will have the monkey off his back officially. So finally, I just want to say thank you guys for looking at the video, and you guys can, tell me what you think, or even make your own playoff predictions at NFLPlayoffPredictor.com. I'll put the link into the part of the video. So yeah, thank you, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this video.
I can't